Before we kick off this list, we at Spacebound would like to encourage you to use caution when attempting some of these experiments at home, because it doesn't hurt to be safe, but it does hurt when you blow off your hand because you were too stupid to listen to warnings.
Holy crap. What do I do?
Welcome to Spacebound, 30 extreme science experiments you can do at home. Number 30, fart in a jar. I've not really been one to wonder what happens when you put menthol in a jam jar, but that's the beauty of YouTube because you find out a lot of things you don't really want to do. By piercing a hole in the lid of a jar and placing a small amount of menthol inside, when lit up with a lighter, it'll make it sound like a jet engine for one thing, but it mostly resembles a fart. Safety warning, there's a possibility that that jar will get too hot and crack, so use caution, please. Number 29, traveling flame. This is a pretty easy one and all you need is a candle and a match for this. Simply light the candle and put it out. Then light up the match and put it to the smoke. The smoke will guide the flame to light up the candle again. It's actually really cool looking. Number 28, brake fluid and chlorine. Chlorine is a pretty toxic chemical, so please be careful when attempting this one or using anything relating to chlorine or any other chemicals. By pouring a little brake fluid into a cap of chlorine, shockingly enough, it'll catch on fire. Again, be careful.
Guess what? It got on fire. Pretty crazy, huh?
Number 27, fire tornado. For this experiment, you're going to need some alcohol, a small container for the alcohol, a lighter, and a large plastic cylinder. Number 26, sugary snake. Here's a cool experiment with just sugar and sulfuric acid, and you can actually buy it just in case you didn't know that. By mixing the acid with the sugar, it will have a chemical reaction causing the sugar to expand and harden, kind of like a snake. Except snakes don't really come from chemical. Point being is that it's going to look really cool. Number 25, waterproof. Tired of getting wet feet in the rain, maybe those wet socks, they're a little bit annoying and I can kind of agree. Using this nifty experiment to waterproof your shoes and pretty much anything else, you'll prevent just that. All you need is wax, and it's easy to get from a candle and rub it on your shoes. After, use a blow dryer and have it set, and voila, there you go. Now you won't be having those wet socks anymore on the way home from school while walking in the rain. Number 24, cool clothing designs. Here's an easy way to put pretty much any design on any article of clothing that you want. First, you're going to want to print out and cut an image that you want to use from the internet. Lay it out how you want, place a few papers on top, and then use an iron to melt the pencil shavings that, of course, again, you've chosen. Number 23, Coke and chlorine. So here's what's going to happen when you mix Coca-Cola with pool chlorine. It's pretty cool.
See what happens.
Oh, did you see that vibration? Woo! Holy crap, what is going on? Damn, look at that.
Number 22, soap boat. This is a cool experiment to do as a science project or just to impress anyone. If you can carve out a small boat out of powdered soap or even foam with a few examples that you can find online and add a few drops of rubbing alcohol, it's going to react like really cheap fuel to fly any object across the water.
This is isopropyl alcohol as our fuel. Jen's going to add it to the fuel chamber. Oh, look at that guy go. He's just moving right along.
Number 21, cloud in a bottle. For this experiment, you're going to need a pump, an empty bottle, and some alcohol. Pour a little bit of alcohol inside the bottle and coat the inside with it. Next, depending on the type of pump you use, all you're going to want to make sure is it's airtight when you're pumping. After pumping a little bit of air into it, remove your pump, and in the blink of an eye, you're going to have made a tiny little cloud inside of the bottle. Number 20, sponge and sulfuric acid. Here's what sulfuric acid can do to a sponge, and we highly recommend you do not touch it. Please. Number 19, hot ice. For this experiment, you'll need some sodium acetate, liquid and solid, which you can easily learn how to make online with a few household ingredients. If you've actually put the effort in to do this, you'll then need to rub your hands in some of the solid sodium and then put it into the liquid sodium, which will make it harder around your hand. So it's kind of like a weird, interesting, glove type of thing. I don't know, it's really cool. Number 18, lighting a match with a battery. For this one, you'll need a positive and negative wire, a battery, and a match. You'll attach both wires to the battery, wrap one end around one of the edges of the match, and tap both wires together on the match. This way, the electrical current can circle through and spark a fire almost immediately. Number 17, Coke lava lamp. Lava lamps are still hip, right? Probably not, but this is pretty cool still. Okay, so what you're gonna need to do for this one is have a half-empty Coke bottle and fill it with vegetable oil. I know it's a little bit weird, but stick with it. Let it sit for about 20 minutes and put in what you can fit of Alka-Seltzer, which is antacids if you didn't know. Number 16, liquid magnet. For our next experiment, you're gonna need an MICR toner, a rare earth magnet, and vegetable oil. And for that rare earth magnet, if you can't get one, I mean, you can get other magnets, but they're not going to work as well. When mixing the toner and the oil, the ratio is 50 milliliters of toner to 2 tablespoons of oil. Mix it until it's consistent. After mixing, pour a little bit of smaller into a container if you can. Now all you need is a magnet, and if you did it properly, the liquid will become magnetized and somewhat spiky. It's really cool to look at, but just be careful because it's a little bit messy if it tends to spill. Number 15, balloon explosion. By placing drain cleaner on bits of aluminum foil, gas will be released. This is where balloons come into play, which you would fill with gas that comes from them. Be careful as it's highly flammable and it will explode, which is of course the point of this experiment. With caution, bring the lighter to a balloon filled with gas and a fiery explosion will commence. Number 14, gravity-defying water. For this experiment, all you need is a piece of gauze, a bottle of water, and some toothpicks. Make sure the gauze is wrapped tightly around the open bottle lid, tightly place your palm on top, and flip the bottle. Honestly, I don't have an answer to how this works either, but I'm not going to question it. It looks cool, so yeah, it works. Number 13, soda can implosion. After filling any can with about a centimeter of water, bring it to a boil over a stovetop or grill. Have a pot of cold water next to you, and once the water in the can is boiled all the way, turn the can over into the cold water and it will implode due to low pressure. Again, please be careful because this can really severely injure your hand or whatever you're using, so make sure to have a ton of caution while doing these things. Number 12, holes in a bottle of water. Here's a neat prank you can pull on your friends. The water will leak out at first, but quickly stop because of empty space on the top. Make sure that you're using a pin. You poke the holes at the same level, otherwise it will not work. Once your friend applies pressure to the bottle, like, just picking it up to squeeze it, the water will squirt out all over them and everywhere else. Again, it's a little bit messy. It's still just water, but just be careful. If you don't want to have to clean up or dry up a mess, don't do this, but it's still funny, and I'm going to do this as well after this. Number 11, green slime. For this, we'll need water, borax detergent booster, some food coloring, and clear glue. In one container, mix 1 cup of water and half a teaspoon of borax. In another container, mix half a cup of water and 5 fluid ounces of clear glue. After, mix in 2 drops of green coloring and 5 yellow for a realistic slime color. Mix all of what you have and now stir until it's a gooey consistency. Number 10, egg drop. For this experiment, you'll need paper clips, a styrofoam container, and an egg, obviously, and also rubber bands. The thicker, the better. Place your clips on all 4 sides and wrap your bands around the egg. Attach to the clips until they're tight and the egg is in place. This will keep the egg from breaking when you drop it, but it varies depending on height, of course. Number 9, temporary light bulb. Next, you'll find out how to make a temporary light bulb. You'll need 4D batteries, blue tack, crocodile clips, pencil leads, and a jar. Use the jar lid and blue tack to make the light bulb stand. Next, use the crocodile clips to hold a piece of the pencil lead and cover it with the glass part of the jar. Finally, connect both crocodile clips to each end of the batteries to gain an electrical current. Number 8, bouncing eggs. This one is actually really simple and pretty much anyone can do it. All you need to do is fill a container with vinegar and let as many eggs as you like sit for about 12 hours or so. The vinegar eats at the shell, making it clear and adding a little extra padding. It's really interesting to look at and watch. Also, if you time-lapse it, it looks really cool. Number 7, elephant toothpaste. For this experiment, you'll need water, liquid soap, potassium permanganate, and also hydrogen peroxide. Stir a tall container with some water and the permanganate in there, and also stir a little bit of soap in as well. Next, just add small amounts of the hydrogen peroxide, and here's what looks like a shit ton of toothpaste. Number 6, liquid glow stick. Hopefully you've got some hydrogen peroxide from the last experiment because you'll need it here too. Here's how to make a liquid glow stick at home, and it's really easy. In a bottle, add a little bit of your Monster Energy drink with a half spoonful of baking soda and about 2 full caps of peroxide, and that's it. Number 5, hot and cold water. This one is pretty interesting actually, even I learned something new this time. What you need are 2 jars, one filled with hot water and the other cold. In the hot water, put red food coloring, in the cold one, put blue. Cover your blue water with plastic cards and make sure it's vacuum sealed to not spill. Then place your red jar below and make sure they're parallel. You notice they mix consistently. Now if you do this with the red one on top, they won't mix. The reason is because the hot water is lesser density than the cold. It's kind of like a lava lamp experiment from earlier, except, it's just a little bit different. Number 4, milk and soap. This is cool. By adding a few drops of food coloring to milk and dropping in a bit of liquid soap, it makes a really cool reaction. Check this out.
This is insane, yo. I just realized it. First time myself. Look at this.
Number 3, liquid breath. I guess here's one way to find out if you have bad breath, but not exactly. If you actually have access to liquid nitrogen, here's what to do. Breathe into a balloon and tie it. Put it into a container and fill it with liquid nitrogen. Nitrogen is so cold that it's solidifying your breath. Hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, water, etc. So cut open the balloon into a glass and there's your icy breath. It's kind of weird, but again, cool at the same time. Number 2, diaper polymer. Pour water on a super absorbent polymer found in disposable baby diapers and it will instantly harden like a slush. It's kind of gross, but it's still kind of cool, science. And finally, number 1, genie in a bottle. This is a classic chemistry experiment which works best in a long-necked flask. You'll need 30% hydrogen peroxide and manganese dioxide, the black inside of a battery if you didn't know, easily found in a 6-volt battery. Pour the dioxide in the flask and bam, you got an intense stream of oxygen. But again, like every single one of these 30, be careful, please. And that concludes 30 extreme science experiments you can do at home. If you've enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for better content to come in the future. Also, don't forget to check out a couple other videos on screen now with annotations to them, and have yourselves a great day.